Hey guys, it's Sammy, and today I'm going to be doing the Unpopular Opinions book tag. This tag was created by the Book Archer, and I will leave her information down below. I wasn't tagged by anybody, but I'm going to be doing this anyway. So basically, the premise of this book tag is to talk about the books that you don't like, love that everyone hates, and all the stuff like that, your unpopular opinions. So let's just get into it. So the first question is, the tag is a popular book or series that you did not like, and for me, I am using Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I didn't hate this book. I see my 2-star rating on Goodreads and think that I did, but it's just that I had such high hopes for this book. Everyone was raving about it back when I read it, and I just expected so much more. I could not connect with the characters. They seemed way older than their years. When I read this, I myself was only 13, 12, and I just could not connect with them. I didn't understand a lot of this book when I read it. It just wasn't a book that I could really get into. I didn't like that they used such elaborate words, and I get that that was their characters and that's who they are, but I just couldn't get into it. The next is a popular book or series that everyone else seems to hate but you love. And for this one, I am using Twilight. I loved Twilight when I read it. I have the whole series, plus I have the illustrated guide, the graphic novel, and the short Second Life of Bree Tanner. I adored this series. I read this when I was in 4th grade. I was 10 years old and I loved it. I can see now that maybe if I were to reread it, which I do plan to do soon, I could maybe see the complaints that everyone has about this, but I don't think I could ever hate this book the way that some people hate it. It's what got me into reading, which I know there's tons of people that love the series for that very reason, but there is also an equal amount of people that hate it. The next one is a love triangle where the main character ended up with someone that you did not want them to end up with. And for this one, I kind of bent the rules a little bit because there's not a lot of books that the character ends up with the person that I did not like. So for this one, I chose Eleanor and Park, and if you have not read Eleanor and Park, I will be holding up the book, so when I put down the book, spoiler section will be over this and you can just skip it and keep going. I did not like the ending of this book. I really wanted Eleanor and Park to be together, and when at the end, when there was no epilogue with them being together, I was really upset. I loved this book and I loved the characters, and I really wanted them to be together. So the next one is a popular book genre that you hardly reach for. And this may seem as a surprise to many because fantasy is beloved in the booktube community, but I hardly reach for fantasy. And I really want to change that this year. I love contemporary reads and I tend to go for them a lot more, but I've been getting into the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices, and I've really been loving it. And I know that's just urban fantasy, and right now I think that's a safe place for me before getting into high fantasy, but I hope to change that soon. So don't come at me with the spears and pitchforks. I do not hate fantasy, I just hardly reach for it. So the next one is a author that you just can't seem to get into. And for this one, may come as a surprise because I gave 2 of his books on Goodreads 5 stars. And so I don't know if I can do this, but it is John Green. I may need to reread those books that I read, which were Looking for Alaska and Paper Towns. Those are the 2 books I gave 5 stars, but I also gave Fault in Our Stars 2 stars. And I have the rest of his books. I have An Abundance of Catherines and Will Grayson that I have not read yet. And the reason that I guess can't seem to get into his books, even though I gave 2 of the books 5 stars, is because although I do like the books, I feel like they are all very similar. Paper Towns and Looking for Alaska and The Fault in Our Stars just seem to have the same characters in a way. Wise beyond their years, very articulate, very outgoing, and I know there's tons of people like that, but I just don't like that he always writes the same characters, I guess. So that's really why I can't seem to get into them. Maybe these 2 books are different, so I don't think I will be, well, I may read them, but I can't really seem to get into them as much. And I might have to reread the old ones to get a better view. The next is a popular or beloved character that you do not like. And for this one, I am using Greg from Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. I didn't like Greg. I didn't find his humor to be funny. I don't know, I just don't like middle school humor, I guess. I also didn't really like this book in general. I didn't like the setup of it. I didn't like the main character, Greg. And I just really didn't like the story. I don't know. So maybe I'm a little biased because I didn't like the story in general. but I did not like Greg from being on The Guy and Girl. I know a lot of people loved him. And actually a book reviewer on Goodreads that I usually always agree with, Emily May, really loved this book, so I thought I would love it as well because she didn't like the Fault in Our Stars. So I figured I would give this one a try, but I didn't like it either. I don't know if it's cancer lit that I just can't get into, but I didn't like Greg and I didn't find him funny, and I didn't find this book very funny. So next is a popular book trope that you can't seem to get into. Examples, love triangle, lost princess, stuff like that. And for me, this one is something that I haven't heard many people talk about, but it is the abusive, bad parents. I really see a lot of that in YA literature, and I really want to see more loving and accepting parents in the young adult genre. I don't like to see it. I know that it is very prevalent in our society and it does happen, but I really would like to see more strong family bonds and better parents. So the next one is a popular series that you have no interest in reading. And for me, I read the first book in this series, hi cat, and that is the Divergent series. I read Divergent, I really loved Divergent, but then I tried to start Divergent and I didn't like it. I thought it was slow in the beginning. I read like 150 pages in and I just didn't like it. Like, I have all of the books. I even have four. Like, that's the novellas, I think. The novella bind up. And I didn't like it. I can't get into it. And also, here's a throwback for you. Does anyone remember these books? Anyone? This is the Immortals trilogy by Alison Noelle. Yeah, Alison Noelle. And I bought all these books back in, well, like the first one came out in like 2008, but I got them all in like, I've gotten them all over the years. And I read the first two, but I don't think I'm gonna read the rest. Is anyone read these and can recommend them for me? Because I don't think I want to read them. And there's a lot of them. This could be a dedication. I mean, they're not super long, but should I read them? I don't think I will. Leave a comment down below, let me know. So the saying always goes that the book is better than the movie, but what movie adaptation or TV series do you like better than the book? And for this one, I am choosing The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I read this book before I saw the movie, so there's no bias here. I read this because I wanted to watch the movie with a few friends, and I didn't like the book. I thought it was too overhyped once again. There's a lot of books in here that I just think are way too overhyped. But I adored the movie. I love Emma Watson and Logan Lerman, but I think I only gave this a 2 stars on Goodreads. It just wasn't for me. I didn't really like the main character, Charlie. I didn't really like how it was written. I mean, I didn't mind the letter format, but it wasn't my favorite way to read this. I think it would have been better if it was just written like a normal story, I guess. And although I did really kind of like the ending because it kind of summed up a lot of things for me, but it just wasn't. I like the movie a lot more. Sue me. Oh well. So that is all for the Unpopular Opinions book tag. Comment down below what a book that everyone loves that you don't like. I would love to read them and I would love to discuss. Thank you all for watching and have a great day. Bye! One day I hope to aspire to be Emma Books and be super passionate about lots of things, but right now I haven't read enough books for that, so catch you next week. Maybe I'll have more passion.